Not too long ago, I was showing a picture, this one, that Greg Walden had President Trump sign on Air Force One. And I was talking to a friend about that, and he said, sure, it'd be cool to meet the president. I said, yeah, it would be. But then I said, in true comment, my goal is to meet the Secretary. Because the Secretary of the Interior is the man that can make the biggest difference in this basin. I had no idea that Secretary David Bernhardt would be here in less than a month. Mr. Secretary, thank you for coming to our small part of the country. We may be small, but we've got a heart for this nation. I'm humbled and excited to introduce the Secretary of the Interior, Secretary Burman.
Mr. Walden said, hey, I really need you to think about coming out. And the next day, Representative Malfa is calling me saying, hey, would really like you to come out. So I called Brenda and I said, hey, I think we're going out. And the truth of the matter is, this whole day has been devoted to learning more about the issues. Every decision we make has to be grounded in the facts and the law. I think we're walking away here today with some ideas of how we might look at this differently. You have a president who fundamentally believes that we need to address and fix problems and not just keep continuing to let them proceed forward. And obviously he's a strong believer in rural America. That's one of the primary reasons I came back to work for him. And he has so much faith in what you do every day in terms of producing for the American people in the world. And so that's great. So Brenda and I will leave. We have a great team here with Paul Souza and Ernest Comstock. We have a really good team. But sometimes it's important for us to evaluate the situation for ourselves and then try and drive change, and that's what we're going to try and do.
I have the most incredible job because I have a boss who wants to get things done, and I have a boss's boss, the president, who wants us to fix things and who cares about rural America, and we are here to listen. I've learned so much today. I know many of you. We've had lots of discussions in different places. I'm glad we're finally having that conversation here. But I learned a lot from your stories today. I expect to learn more as the afternoon continues.
All the weeks leading up to the big problem we had this spring, you're listening and getting results, which is really what it's about. The president and all the way down through the chain. It's about getting results so people can keep farming, keep doing what they need to do.
And thanks for your ability to come out and listen to what people had to say and hear their stories and hear the history of this basin. And hear the positive nature of the comments that we all heard today about there are things we can find common ground on and get done. So thank you. I know when I was here a few weeks ago with Doug and everyone, I said it's time for a reset. And I believe that more firmly now than ever. Because let's face it, the plans and policies and programs that have been in place, they haven't worked for the suckers, they haven't worked for the salmon, and they sure as heck aren't working for farmers. There's a place here where we can find common ground, but we have to start with science and data that makes sense. We have to study what's worked and not worked, and come with a new place, come with a new plan, and measure for results. But the long and the short of it is there is a path forward. And in conclusion, I would say let us not lose sight of the things we have done together.
We put together a 55-page document that identified things for the Trump transition team that we thought would help irrigated agriculture in the West. Hundreds of different specific actions. I went through this thing last week knowing that the Secretary was coming, and I would say 90% of them are done or in the process of being addressed. NEPA, ESA, implementation, getting it modernized. I mean, we got these laws that are almost 50 years old, and you've done a tremendous job. Great work in California on the Central Valley Project with a new operations plan that's legally defensible, scientifically driven, and hopefully we get something like that here.
But what was the take-home message? This was just not, like Scott said, this was just not a farm rally. people came from all corners of this basin to support not just the farms, to come support the fish and the wildlife in this basin. Because that's what this rally was about. It was not about just water for farms. It was, we need to fix some of these problems. And we will always be grateful and humble for the support of the local community, because it really meant a lot to us, and we will never forget that. And that's another reason why we need to fix this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so it sounds like this was a really good thing today. You guys have all said that. Practically speaking, what is the next step?
Well, actually, in terms of true practically, we take the information that we gathered today, we go back and have a whole bunch of meetings at the Department of the Interior, look at some new information and decide what we're going to do about it, and then come back and collaborate not only with these folks but everybody else we met with and talk about a pathway forward. That's the way we do it from a practical standpoint.